A mayor now has proposed FEMA internment camps for refugees, but apparently the mayor of Roanoke, Virginia, is calling out for the reestablishment of internment centers, internment camps, FEMA camps for Syrian refugees, probably even people of Syrian descent here in the United States. I would go municipal. Your largest municipal center in your town can be converted to become a detention center, whether that's a high school football stadium, whether that's, because of all the fear of the Syrian refugees coming into this country, a call for camps is on the horizon.
Do you think this is a sign that they're preparing for some sort of mass civil unrest?
So they have an open bid right now, DHS, for even more ammunition, for 175 million rounds of .223 caliber rifle ammo. It's almost identical to the ammunition used by NATO peacekeeping forces. So that's very interesting. Are they planning on some kind of widespread economic unrest in the U.S. that would require NATO forces to help us?
And those people who have been yelling, oh, the UN's going to take over global
conspiracy
government.
Theorists.
They've been crazy, but now they're right.
Yeah, well, when
it's happening.
When Geithner said he would be open to the idea of a global currency last week,
yeah.
Those conspiracy people had said and suggested that for years. Right. You're not wrong.
And when massive foreign trade deals are made, they are done in U.S. dollars, which serves as the world's reserve currency. Now the UN is backing a plan to change all of that and create a new global currency.
There is a global meltdown coming. It is a global depression, and one world currency and one world financial system is the end game. China said last week they want one global currency. France said yesterday or the day before that they want one world order, a new world order, at the end of this event.
U.S. State Department, the Federal Reserve, even the EPA are sending billions of dollars overseas, and many economic and political decisions made in the United States just don't benefit us. They benefit a would-be one-world government. Because of the programs like this and just the fiscal conditions that we're in, it feels like there's a greater sense of urgency to get to that one-world government. Do you feel like the Obama administration may actually be hitting the gas rather than the brake pedal when it comes to this?
The battle against terrorism involves all of us. Everybody in this country is a potential terrorist.
While they're doing this, they're amassing this wealth in order to redirect it toward martial law endeavor, and not just in America, but globally. They want to lock down every country and force us into global governance, eventually force us into a global reserve currency that is like the Bancorp that the IMF has been pushing.
The entire city of Boston is in lockdown. In the suburb of Watertown, police with guns drawn are searching door to door.
I mean, we had martial law up there. FBI and all these agents coming in, closing things down, going into people's houses.
People have in mind is the goal to create a one-world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers. The whole agenda is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. If you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip, and you have nothing. You can't buy food, you can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything,
you sell.
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave, you become a serf to these people. That's their goal.
Look, the CIA has done in this country, what they've done to us is unbelievable. Look at the terrorist acts that have occurred. The CIA behind most, if not all.
President of the United States, the authority to declare basically martial law during times of peace.
There are new disturbing developments out of Washington tonight regarding the president's belief that he has the legal authority to assassinate U.S. citizens. Incredibly enough, it appears that our commander-in-chief actually believes that authority exists not only on foreign soil, but right here on American soil as well.
But Senators McCain and Levin have added this legislation which would authorize the president to declare the entire United States of America, all 50 states and all territories, to be a battlefield, even though there's no battle, thanks be to God, going on here.
War on terror is different.
And that would authorize him to use commander-in-chief authority in the United States, to use the military to arrest people in the United States who, in the president's opinion, are enemies of the country.
Particularly to hear President Obama claim the power to keep people in prison indefinitely with no charges against them, no conviction, no sentence, just imprisonment.
Joining us now is former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. Dan, thanks a lot for joining us. What do you mean there's no such thing as gun control, only people control? Tell me what that means.
Tucker, this is larger ideological ploy by this administration. They're not being authentic with America, whether it's the sequester, health care, or the gun control issue. What they do is they manipulate an emotional crisis, a national emotional crisis, to further an ideological agenda which involves the evaporation, the slow disintegration of your civil rights, your liberties, your ability to live and let live. And it's a disturbing pattern that, frankly, is really starting to get under my skin.
Президент Обама упомянул об одной из угроз, это ИГИЛ. Ну а кто помогал вооружать людей, которые в Сирии боролись с Асадом-то? Кто создавал благоприятный политический информационный климат? Кто подталкивал к поставкам оружия? А вы чего, разве вы не понимаете, кто там воюет? Там воюют наемники, в основном. Вы знаете, что там платят деньги? И они воюют там, где платят больше. Вот они вооружились, им платят определенную сумму. Мне даже называли эти суммы, которые им платят. Они там воюют уже с оружием, все, у них уже не отнимешь. Потом выяснилось, что в другом месте чуть-чуть начали побольше платить. Они там туда перетекут. Вот они захватили месторождения нефтяные, там, скажем, где-то в Ираке или в Сирии. Нефть начали добывать. У них эту нефть покупают, транспортируют, продают. Почему санкции не накладывают на всех, кто это делает? А что, разве Соединенные Штаты не знают, кто это делает? Это разве не их союзники этим занимаются? У них что, нет силы, возможности повлиять на своих союзников? Или они не хотят влиять? Зачем они бомбят ИГИЛ? Вот там начали нефть добывать и больше платить. И там часть сразу этих боевиков перетекла из так называемой цивилизованной оппозиции. Сразу же перетекла в ИГИЛ, потому что там больше платят. Я считаю, что это абсолютно невыверенная, непрофессиональная политика, без опоры на реалии.
Tonight, our focus is on every American's right to freedom of expression and freedom of religion. It's the Christians who are under siege by government officials and anti-religion groups who think Christmas and Christianity have no business in the public arena.
The Department of Defense has just issued a new list of extremists that should be watched. And on that, in fact, number one, past the Muslim Brotherhood, and past Hamas, Hezbollah, number one, evangelical Christians.
We begin tonight with a newly leaked U.S. Army military police training manual for what they are calling civil disturbance operations to kill rioters and demonstrators in America. That's right, they have plans to confiscate our firearms and kill American citizens on U.S. soil. This during a mass civil unrest, I guess, shooting innocent civilians perhaps. And it goes on to describe how prisoners will be processed through internment camps.
Wage disparities. I don't know how that inevitably resolves itself.
it may resolve itself in some type of a global currency crisis. And then if the global currency crisis unfolds, then inevitably you get, I guess, an alignment under a global world government, a new global currency, and a new world order.
If the feds do not stop the wild spending and do not reform Medicare and Social Security, the U.S. dollar will collapse. That means that all of our savings, all of our investments, our homes, and everything else will blow up before our eyes.
Lionel from Lionel Media. Lionel, you make a great point, and you just the light bulb just went off in my dense ass head.
The epiphany.
And that is, you're right. So out of all the egregious and stupid and distrustful and untruthful and shenanigans that are happening abroad in the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, whatever one you want to pick over there, Brian Williams telling a fabrication of a particular incident that didn't happen really is like the lesser of 9 million different evils. There's so many other things. Is this the classic government, hey, let's jump on this to get everybody's eye off the ball? Is that what this is?
It's a diversion. It's sleight of hand. It's an amazing thing. Around the world, people are saying, why isn't anybody emphasizing the fact that ISIS started off by beheading Christians? You know, in the United States, again, and I don't want to rag on this, but this is Christianity. Protestant, Catholic. That's it. To us, that's it. To the rest of the world, you have Coptics. In Egypt, go to Israel, go to Jerusalem, and look at so many Catholics from different countries, and Orthodox and Eastern. And okay, when ISIS was beheading Christians, nobody said a word. Then they started beheading Muslims, and by the way, a beheading is a beheading. Human being. Then all of a sudden they got traction, and now they're back to Christians again.
And nobody cares.
Saying anything. Now, one of the things which is interesting, let's assume that me, you, and Manson and 25 sat down and we said, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Do you mean to tell me, let me get this straight, that the governments around the world have no idea who ISIS are? We are the torture champions of the world. We know torture, stress positions, waterboarding, and we learned it from the best. You mean to tell me that nobody looked at one of these videos and said, hey, that's Murray. Yeah, I know him. I went to school with him. I know where his brother lives. Just using common sense. Do you mean to tell me that nobody knows who ISIS is? Even a couple of people here and there. Even a couple people.
Since we probably know who they are, why are we letting them just frolic around over there? I mean, why?
Because of the reaction. Don't you understand?
Oh, because we need a bad guy.
Yeah, we need a big bad wolf.
But put it this way, it's not just us. This causes everyone around the world to look to governments to say, protect us. Do something. Problem, reaction, solution.
Back to some of your comments, as it does to any candidate potentially running for president. You said recently that you thought that there might not actually be elections in 2016 because of widespread anarchy.
Critics say the Army is preparing for modern-day martial law.
Well, I hope that that's not going to be the case, but certainly there is the potential, because you have to recognize that we have a rapidly increasing